Yo, how's it going, guys? So this is going to be a strategic tournament match for Trickster. Just a series, as you guys know. Strategic tournament series does not mean they are actual tournament matches. I'm still playing pubs. I just play a little more No Mercy, like, right? And I don't, I don't play very nice. I don't usually don't trade hooks. I just kill them as fast as possible. Kind of complete domination. You see right there, in terms of perks, for the Trickster, Trickster is pretty much my favorite at this point, killer. It's very fun to play him. But you see right there, that was monitor and abuse. Often the survivors will almost not even react to you approaching them with the generator, unless they have a clear line of sight of you, of course, because monitor and abuse, it's very good, because as you know, Trickster shines in the open, right? You can down people very fast, similar like I just did to her there. So with mine and abuse, you can kind of get them by surprise like that, and you already get the first sort of knife streak on them. And then the solution, which is my second perk, as you can see, procs by the time they get to a pallet, and then they're kind of dead at that point, either by the follow-up of the knives, follow-up of a hit, or the solution. You see kind of the same thing. You see how close he was to me by the time he reacted to my presence. That's monitor and abuse, and then even if there's a pallet nearby, usually by then he already took enough knives, and the solution does his job. So it's like a really, and also it's very economic on the knives usage, because you know, if I didn't have the solution right there, I would have to probably throw all the rest of my knives at him, and be very accurate with that as well. But because I have the solution, I don't have to, I just had to hit him with the one streak of the knife, and he's kind of dead. So it complements really well. The third best perk for chases on Trickster would be Bamboozle, because windows can be, especially on those default tiles that have strong pallets and strong windows, can be quite a problem for him. Which brings me to his add-ons. As you can see, I'm using here, these two are his best add-ons for sure. Which are the add-ons that make him reach the maximum throw rate faster. And the other one is for faster movements while he's throwing the knives. The faster movement basically helps you, it's mostly for, like, in situations like right now, it doesn't matter that much. But it does help a lot, like when you're actually, like, for example, looping Shack, that you have to throw the knives through as you're looping them at the same time. So the movement speed helps tremendously with that. It kind of saves you doing as many, loops in order to get all the knives to hit them, right, that you need. So the movement speed is mostly, it does help on the opening, right? You can follow them up a lot faster. Like before they get to cover, you're almost moving as fast as they are, even throwing the knives at the same time. But it mostly shines and it's helpful for the loops. You see right here, I'm mostly never getting them on loops because of monitor and abuse. So often I just kind of get them by surprise. And the solution as well, most of the time will kind of kill the loop, so you don't even have to worry about hitting them like around the loop with the knives, like similar to kind of how she's doing here. You know, you see how fast I can follow her while still throwing the knives. That's the add-on. Without the add-on, like, you can still do that, but it's a little more, it's kind of slower. It's not that as fluid as you see here. The maximum throw rate, basically, he throws the start of the throwing of the knives happens much faster. So she's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He throws like very fast. If you're not using that add-on, it's like 1, 2, 3. So it's so much slower. It gives them more time to get somewhere before you actually hit the maximum. Like, I think it's like 6 knives that you have to hit him before they take damage. So those are these two add-ons. The other ones are kind of helpful, but they're just like kind of memey. They're not really crucial. They help, but they're not crucial. And the other two is really just I don't know, slow down perks. Not like, but I don't know, because I feel like for him, he's so slow, right? You never really get to use the slow down perks for the most part. You see, that's why I picked kind of a passive perks like Bane Resonance and Eruption, which are kind of regressions that I don't need to actively like be close to the gens or kicking the gens for them to take place. But you see, Eruption, I haven't used it once. Neither have I even been close to any like gen that's being worked on so far, simply because he's too slow, and Yeah, him and Huntress has the same problem. So I don't know. It definitely his weakness. You kind of have to somewhat camp the hook with him because you know he's just too slow, especially on maps like this one. The gens are all across the map. These hits right here, when he's very close to you, can be very hard too. Especially if you're on console like me and you're not aiming with the mouse, and especially if you're also playing at max sensitivity like I am. It does not help being accurate if you're playing at max sensitivity. However, my aim, as you can probably tell, has improved a lot since my first videos. I don't know, it's just feeling more natural now, even though I'm playing at the max sensitivity. You see what I mean right here? And you're throwing them around the loop. The add-ons for the movement speed help a lot with that. A lot. I feel like he's much more not just fun, but also, you know, it's just very fun to like keep throwing shit at them constantly. But I just find him to be so much kind of stronger than Huntress, because Huntress, you know, she kind of downs them faster in a way, but you know, I don't like Huntress because there's like the travel time for her knives, right? It's not as fast as the Trickster for the most part. Unless you charge it, right? But then you have to waste a lot of time for it to charge. And the Huntress just gives too much reaction time to the survivors. I don't like that. Like, you can aim the hatchet right, but then by the time the travel time of the hatchet reaches the survivor, if he turns, like very quickly, sharply, he can dodge the hatchet even though you aim properly. So that's kind of annoying. And there's no way for you to, like, you can try to predict that, but even then it's like a prediction. You're never gonna get it right 100% of the time. Trickster is much more rewarded in that sense that if you aim right, you get the hit. You know, there's no like mid dodging of the throw. And even if he does miss the throw, like, you just have like 30 more knives that you can throw, so it's not that big of a deal, right? It just feels much more not just fun but rewarding. Whereas Huntress, you can, you know, aim perfectly but then just miss because he did a quick sharp turn right at the moment that the headshot would hit. So yeah, it's kind of I don't like her because of that, and I like him because of that. So yeah, this match was like pretty easy. These guys, they weren't that good, even though they didn't have that many options because of my build. But yeah, I just don't like matches like this where they kind of, I get players that they are not super bad, but they're also not at my level, so to speak. It just feels too easy. It's kind of boring. But usually with the new MMR, what happens is I get matches like this where I'm just kind of destroying them, and then it keeps growing my MMR, I suppose, and then it puts me against like sweaty like 4-man SWFs, or at the very least like 2-3-man SWFs, with a good solo player as well. There's never a weak link on the team. And then they kind of destroy me because I get like odds that are too unfavorable to be mechanically possible to win. So especially and on the fact they're just usually, you know how it is, a sweaty 4-man WF. They bring all the, you know, brand new parts, med kits, meta perks, you know, unbreakable, deliveries, yes, everything that hard, and they just like rush the gens like there's no tomorrow. So it kind of ruins the fun a little bit, especially if you're playing like a mid to lower tier killer. Like Trickster, for example, is good, but he's not like S tier, so it just becomes like impossible to win. And then after a match like that, it just kind of lowers the MR again. It keeps kind of lowering and growing like that. So I don't know. I know the system. I don't think this game should have MMR. It's not competitive. At the very least, it should have a playlist just dedicated for sweating if they wanted to do that. Because I kind of explained a little bit of my build, in case you guys didn't know. The perks. Yeah, these perks, they do make a lot of difference on Trickster Chase. Like if you play without this perk, these perks, it's just the whole, it feels, everything is just so different. I tried it, it's unfortunate because it doesn't work out that well when you do not have these chase perks to help you on Trickster. especially if you're playing like the good survivors. But at the reason why I'm saying I don't like that is because it takes like at least 2 slots of my build, or maybe 1, just to dedicate to a chase perk. Ideally, you just want to run, corporate events or something that to hold the gens, not chase perks. So a Trickster, I feel, becomes a little reliant on those chase perks. Deathslinger is somewhat the same thing. Like, the solution on Deathslinger is so good, it's almost like worth even more than using a regression perk. Because you can just make the chases so much faster with that. But yeah, I don't know. Because at the end of the day, really, gen regression is not really meta, like truly meta. Even if you see tournaments, they never really run gen regression perks for the most part. They just run deadlock perks that are kind of automated gen regression, so to speak. They just kind of happen, and the survivors kind of counter it, like corrupt intervention, deadlock. Those are really the go-to gen perks, because you just cannot stop them by kicking gens. They spread out, and you're too slow to move around the map. Usually the chases already take a little too long, because the setup of the map is too strong. Against most killers are just basic M1 and whatnot. Especially if you're not running good add-ons, you can also influence the chases a lot. Like Trickster, I just started kind of playing him no add-ons right now, because it just feels a little too easy when I'm running these 2 add-ons that you see on screen right now. And I can still, I'm still winning like without add-ons, like no add-ons at all. So it feels just kind of better, I don't like the feeling of that I'm just like getting results because of my add-ons. You know what I mean? Not a fan of being carried by add-ons. So yeah, guys, those are my thoughts. As you see, like eruption and pain resonance, I basically completely useless on this build. Although, yeah, I don't think I even kick a single gen this match so far, and it's like a 3 gen with 2 deaths already. Yeah, but I think I think I did switch the build a little bit on upcoming videos. We'll see. Like I said, those are just a little bit of commentary so you guys understand a little more why I'm using it, why, and what works best for him. If you feel like playing Trickster also. And yeah, take care. See you guys in the next one. I think right now I'm just really gonna keep looking for the last guy. I'll probably I'm gonna cut this part right here because it's too boring. If it takes too long. Alright guys, take care.
Yeah.